Today is all about celebrating women, and today's video is going to be doing just that. We're going to be highlighting two activities from the 5th and 7th of March 2024 respectively. These two activities each happened on the week of International Women's Day and were in line with the celebrating of women from the past and present who have made a mark in the lives of everyone around them. The first program was the celebration of the centenary anniversary of the life and legacy of Efua Theodora Sutherland. The second was on the 7th of March, which was the Women of Valour by Nana Aba Anamoah. So sit back and relax, and I hope you enjoy these updates.
At this moment, we would take an introduction, which is a bio of Efua Theodora Sutherland, and that will be done by Her Excellency Aba Anamoah. Kindly draw your attention to the screen.
My name is Aba Anamoah. I'm the current Ghanaian ambassador to Brazil, but more important for this program, I'm one of Efua Theodora Sutherland's literary daughters. I'm also friends to her children and grandchildren who are here with me today to share their ideas and memories of their mother and grandmother's work. Efua Theodora Sutherland is a Ghanaian playwright, director, dramatist, children's author, poet, educationist, researcher, child advocate, and cultural activist. She was a pioneer and an influential figure in the development of Ghana's modern literary and theatre movements. Not only because she wrote plays, but more importantly because of the ideas and the concepts she put behind those plays in trying to think of ways in which contemporary theatre could be married to our traditional forms of storytelling and drama. So like many intellectuals and cultural activists of that extraordinary independence generation of the 50s, Efua Sutherland saw herself as an African with responsibilities. They were a generation of people who thought, we are creating this new national space. How do we do it and hold on to the things we treasure about ourselves? So Efua Sutherland fostered a number of institutions, including ones that were focused on fostering cultural production in Ghana, such as the Ghana Association of Writers, the National Theatre Movement, the National Commission on Children, Children's Parks and Libraries, the W.E.B. Du Bois Center for Pan-African Culture, and Panafest, as well as the Mofra Foundation. These organizations and institutions exist to this day, and they all owe their origin, wholly or in part, to the work, genius, passion, and commitment of Efua Sutherland.
Manso. That's it. In the share ya wo anyone won komo kakre be ke de anyone easy na damon common ye bezin wo brofo muzi na so nimpa onam no do maye wa han ne lukrum kasa nyan papa nti na cho o cho brofa ne wa cho twi wa cho fancy na onhwana onyim de hena manzi oye hozi a owodo okoho honya no yim de hena manzi he kum kasa na yede kansi omie na enwa de obosuan o che fantipo nse ne se ye baka ne wunja zozi je henam de kro de ye kan de na owo de yesua hie kum kasa. So I have said a few words in Fanti because Efua Sutherland was very clear that we should use our own languages, and that's one of the major legacies she left, that there shouldn't be a hierarchy of English first and your languages next. In fact, for her, she felt that the mother tongue was our safest vehicle. It carried all that we've known living in this part of the world, and that it's like it's like losing your whole heritage if you don't remember your language. So if we're talking about her legacy, I think that that's one thing that I would like to come up with. But let me start off with the books that she has written. Professor Kofi Anidoho was speaking at New York University only a few days ago, and he was saying that because she mentored so many people, she didn't get to publish all her work. So even though we only know of Marriage of Anamoah, Vulture, Voice in the Forest, Furua, Edufa, she actually wrote more than 12 plays, a large number of essays, a number of children's stories, and I think one of the things that we have discovered in trying to put her archive together is just the numerous notes, handwritten notes that she made about her concerns with history, research methods, education, and development, as well as Pan-Africanism. So she had a very wide range of interests about which she has written, and it's now up to us to try and see how we can make that material public. She was, I would call her a public intellectual, in the sense that she was a scholar, she was an academic in some senses, but her interest was also in trying to create knowledge and to intellectualize the things that we take for granted. So things like games that children play, she took that and tried to demonstrate that if you want to be a good writer of children's books, for example, or of children's plays, you must be observant, you must watch children, and that the children are in fact our best dramatists. Scholar who says that the program of experimental theatre which Efua Sutherland began in Accra between 1958 and 1961, and the Ghana Drama Studio which she built to house her experimental work, are two of the most important happenings in the creation of modern drama, not only in West Africa, but in the entirety of the African continent. Now, Sutherland belonged to a generation of African artists who were very, very conscious of being African, of the fact that the African story has to be told, and that the arts were a very critical tool for sharing who Africa was, for asserting Africa's identity. And I would like to put her together with Ifrimamu, Kwabena Nketia. We see there was a sculptor called Vincent Kofi. There are a certain number of artists that were at the forefront of using the arts, and first of all discovering the arts and then using them, as a way of modernizing ourselves. Now, this idea of self-discovery is something which I think is a legacy that we would want to try and remember, because that's been a problem with those of us who have gone through the colonial experience, and it's very, very important for us to rediscover who we are, and that for her was a very, very essential. Auntie Anamoah Bing is the longest living female concert party artist that we have in Ghana, very famous person, and she always acknowledges Sutherland's influence, Sutherland's influence in the way that she approached theatre. And one of those things was getting theatre artists to go out and do research before they put themselves up there on the stage. One of how you mothered us with that maddening, formidable self-assurance, those humorously luminous and luminously humorous eyes that sought out our inner weaknesses in hope of setting us straight, not just someday, but right away. You never gave up on us, not for a minute, knowing as you did that given half a chance, you could and still can soar high above our normal human frailties and make a glowing, glittering something of ourselves and our world. Encouraging, supporting, affirming. So what did you think we were going to do without you? So that's Amatedu's tribute to Sutherland, or part of her tribute to Sutherland. I think that there will be a lot of time to talk about the work that she did. Professor Buzia has talked about the fact that she set up a number of institutions, the Ghana Drama Studio and so on, the Commission on Culture, on children that she promoted, the Mofra Foundation, setting up, helping to set up the School of Performing Arts. There's so many institutions, the Accra done and so on. So we do, over the course of the year, we hope that we can share a lot more with you. But the question that I want to leave with you before I hand over to Ralph, who will talk about other aspects of her, is a question about whether or not we understood what she was doing, and if so, why have we allowed some of the institutions that she established to crumble, or to totter, and is maybe this is an opportunity for us to go back and lift those institutions back up again. Thank you very much, Ralph.
I have a little problem with academics. AC has done very well referring to our mother as Sutherland. Forgive me if I just refer to her as Ma. So she had a peculiar approach to environment and to concepts of space. From an architect's viewpoint, I think that I've been amazed at just how she evoked and expressed her life work in the midst of architecture. If I begin with the home we grew up in, it was a simple expression, perhaps more contemporary at the time, of the courtyard house. And whilst it's easy to refer to a courtyard as a physical space, it really is much more than that. It is a socializing space. It is a space in which people live, breathe, eat, cook, meet, play, and entertain themselves. And our home was exactly like that. We would spend hours lying on the lawn in the courtyard, looking up at the sky, chatting, catching up on our day. And that expression of the courtyard being possible for a modern society means that it is not simply a traditional form of housing. It is as relevant today for us as it was then, and it has a telling influence on how we grow up as families and friends within the context of a home in a more connected way. The second area of space that I would speak to is a specialized courtyard, if I can call it that, and that is the performance space. So she would continue to develop spaces like the Ghana Drama Studio and the Kodzidan, in which the focus of the space was for performance. But very much like the living courtyard, the wonder of these spaces is the way it hosts the interactivity between the performer and the viewer in such a natural way that you would often find the viewer become the performer and the performer standing by to watch. And the form of courtyard, I think in more studious circumstances, they call it the theater in the round. But for us, it is home and social life being brought to bear in social entertainment, social performance, and the expressions that it would mean for us in contemporary society are many and varied. I have myself as an architect, I'm still exploring the use of courtyards, namata. And we look forward to being able to engage it. Chris, my wife, is also an architect. And a lot of our work, wherever it is possible, goes into the history of digging up some of the legacies she left there, of urbanism, in eating up the natural environment and not respecting it sufficiently, is one of the big issues that has arisen with the Efua Sutherland Park. And she stood for it. She won it from government to stand for something in our society and for the future of our children. And we all need to stand up for that as and when the case for advocacy arises. Thank you.
We'll take a dramatized reading from Elizabeth Efua Sutherland. A round of applause, please.
So I'm reading a short excerpt from one of my plays, which is in response to my grandmother's work. It's titled Anansi's Wife, Ekua's Daughter. My people have a saying that they say, a telling that they tell, when they're about to tell a tale, a silly saying, or so some people say. And it goes, I do not really mean to say that what I'm about to say is true. It's a story. It's just a story. Let it come and let it go. I'm going to tell you a story. I have one you haven't heard before. Well, you might have heard it, but not like this. Never like this. About the one they call Anansi, the Spider-Man, Anansi Kuntumkrun, the famous Akan trickster. He was the son of the sky god, Nananya Minyankupon. His mother is the goddess of the earth, Yenina Yenmam Asasiya. He's a trickster, the best and worst of that kind. It is said that he wreaked so much havoc on heaven and earth that he was punished, cast out of the realms of earth and sky for his mischief and his selfish self-interest. He was banned.
Please turn your attention to the screen. Listen to Efua Theodora Sutherland in her own words.
The image of the book, is a self-image. You open a book and it's about you, not always about other people, you see. And for educationally, it is absolutely necessary to make an effort to give our children that kind of a book, because he has been fed another thing for too long, and it does do damage to one's sense of oneself. My purpose is to help develop the literature of my country, both adult literature and juvenile literature, because we need to do this, in the process we are in of self-rediscovery and, building up our sense of our own identity, and putting this out in every direction we can through education and through the theatre, etc. Literature is not strange not a strange commodity in African culture. We have a lot of literature, not written, mind you. So actually the word literature is a misnomer. It connotes something written, but we have a fantastic wealth of verbal art, the poetry and narratives, epics, legends, folk tales, the lot. And it happens to have in form and style and in content, and just its awareness of the true African environment, which supports our lives. And so it is incomparable. So we did have that for model.
I wanted this video to focus more on the celebration of women, so we're going to talk about all the activities slated for the centenary celebration of the life and legacy of Efua Sutherland later on in another video, which will be solely for that purpose, so you can get all the details right here on the channel. Keep it locked.
So do well to follow Efua Sutherland Legacy on all social media platforms, Facebook, IG. So again, Efua Sutherland Legacy, all together one word, on all platforms. And on that note, my name has been Emma Ofosua Donko. I have been your host for tonight.
The program was organized by Nana Aba Anamoah, renowned TV and media personality. It was hosted by Sewa Amihia, who is presently a TV personality in Ghana. And they had a special guest of honor being COP Maameya Tiwa Adodankwa. There were also talks from Sika Goka, who is a certified etiquette coach, and also Bobia Dakopoku, who is a business executive, philanthropist, and communications professional. After all these talks, it was now time to hear from our Women of Valour for 2024. Shirley Frimpong Manso from Ghana, Bonang Matheba from South Africa, and Rita Dominic from Nigeria.
I pray a lot, okay? It's not necessarily about being Christian, but it will be helpful to believe in something. Okay? It's helpful to believe in something. It's going back to your bed and lying on that pillow and drawing strength from that thing that you believe is looking over you. Okay? And some of it could even be somebody that you love that is no more. But you believe the person is there, holding your hand. Okay? And then also, you have to talk to them. You have to talk to people that you trust. Because you could do a lot of that in talking to the wrong people. It will be worse than before. So you have to talk to people that you trust. You also have to talk to people who have been through similar experiences.
Branding and everything that I've learned has really helped me become a formidable, I'd like to say, businesswoman. But I think today I'm here to answer your questions, to inspire you, and to just share a little bit of my knowledge, how I became who I am, and what it means to be a young African woman in 2024. For Rita Dominic!
Hello, Ghana! You have been so amazing. You have warmly welcomed me. You are so hospitable, and I just want to say, Medase! Saying this message for the past 2-3 hours, and it has been so electrifying having women speak, connecting, engaging, inspiring, motivating. My goodness. Mana, I don't think you know what
and I thank you for that.